Shalom, Laha Alahayim, peace to the gods. Nawathan, Kal, Halalimla, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash, giving all praises to Yahweh, in the name Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors unto the elder apostles, the elder bishops, and the head elders of all the camps of Great Millstone GMS who do rule well, who I've learned this 100% truth from, who are the true leaders of all Israel today. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the house of David, the predestined spirits of election, starting with the governing body in the kingdom to come, the 144,000, 12,000 men, prophets of each tribe of Israel, as well as the remaining innumerable multitude of men, women, and children, also consisting of that 1/3 and here in Babylon the Great. This is your brother Tazapanya, Banyamyan, Adawan Ratazah, Lord willing. This is edifying and straight to the point through the spirit and power of Yahweh wa Yahweh Shai. All right, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 6, and it says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye not be troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." So why did I bring this out? This is the words of Yahweh Shai in the red letter, and he prophesied this some 2,000 odd years ago. All right, and he was prophesying not only of the wars that was to come during 70 AD with the Edomite Romans, okay, ransacking Jerusalem, but also World War III, the third woe, as John the Revelator saw on the island of Patmos in the book of Revelation, okay, and a bunch of these other wars that's going on right now. All right, and the reason why I put rumors of wars, because if you remember, I remember like during, what was it, when Eagle-faced Nero Trump first got into office, there was this trade war going on with China. So wars can happen in different ways, because in Isaiah 9, right, it says that for the wars is full of noise. I'm roughly paraphrasing here, but this one shall be a fuel of fire, showing you there's different type of wars. There's conventional warfare, and then there's nuclear warfare, and that's what the fuel of fire Isaiah was prophesying in the book, in his book, through the Spirit. Okay, so this war is a financial war. Why? Because it's a rumor right now that 50 years ago, there was a Bretton Woods agreement. All right, in the 70s. So that would be Nixon. Nixon made an agreement with Saudi Arabia, who is the spearhead of the cartel OPEC, which gauges and manipulates the price for petrol, the price for oil, crude oil around the world, and said that they will not sell their oil unless the countries or governments buy it in the world reserve currency, which would be the USD, the US dollar. Now there's rumors saying that 50 years from then, that happened in, 1974, all right, that 2024, there is the agreement is going to expire. Hence, but the funny thing is, Saudi Arabia already took digital yuan CBDCs from China to pay for oil some months ago, man. So it's just, this is speculation, but this is something to talk about. And what is this guy's name again? Rethinking the Dollar, RTD, he's going to talk about it. So quick video, get some more scriptures, close it on out.
Will the Saudi Arabia deal with the U.S. be coming to an end this June 9th? We don't know, but there's a lot of talk about what could be. So we're going to talk about that today. It has a lot to do with this statement made on the Brown Cafe that Saudi Arabia might not be renewing the Petrodollar agreement, with the link that takes us to the original memorandum conversation held at the White House on June.
Now that's deep. See, the funny thing, Okay, because me, we of the Church of Berea, us that follow the apostles of Great Millstone. So we research. I don't just let me do the video. Yeah, we be flowing in the spirit, but I was looking and for a good 30 minutes, and I didn't necessarily. I saw a New York Times article from 1974 talking about the Saudi Arabia agreement. Now the Saudi Arabians are the Ishmaelites. Okay, they're the sons of Ishmael, so they're Hebrews. They're just of this the son of the bondwoman. Okay, not the seed of the promise which came through Isaac. Okay, so they're heathen nations, but they learned of the ways from their father, but they perverted it. You see, because the Lord is not dealing with them. All right, hence why they live the way they live. But also they made a pact, all right, with the devil that the Bible speaks of, Esau, Edom. You see what I'm saying? And there was a lot of intermingling and intertwining, hence why you got the look of your so-called Ishmaelite today. Because you go into the original look of the so-called Arab man, all right, the Ishmaelite, they was dark-skinned people. Ishmael had a son named Kedar, all right? And Kedar, all right, in the scriptures is dark, super dark. All right. I mean, you are in a desert. You see what I'm saying? But the point here being, he brought out the script. You feel me? The evidence from the Gerald R. Ford Presidential Library from the White House showing you the participants, the president, the Secretary of State, Henry Kissinger, as you can see right there. We all know how wicked he was. All right. He made a quote too. If somebody want to put that quote of talking about if you control the food, you can control the people and things of that nature. And if you could, and the controlling the food goes back to controlling the oil or the resources, because in order for your food through the supply chain to get to wherever you live at, the locomotives or the 18-wheelers and things of that nature got to use oil. So you control the oil, you control the price of food, hence controlling the people. But that's neither here nor there. And then it goes to talk about Ishmaelites that's also in the participants, and it happened on Thursday, June 6, 1974. So we're gonna continue. I want to turn up the volume, Lord willing, y'all can hear. Let me get the remote real quick. It's only about 6-minute video.
1974, between Nixon, Kissinger, and Prince Fahd of Saudi Arabia. And the result of this discussion led to what we call the petrodollar system. We all know how important the petrodollar system has been towards the establishment and the furthering of the U.S. dollar as the current reserve currency. And so the big question is, with all these developments of alternatives being formed and alliances and signatures being signed between Saudi and other nations, this leads to the major question: is Saudi Arabia dropping the petrodollar? Because we all know that this is the deal that keeps all the oil flowing. And as the world introduces alternatives, it puts the U.S. potentially in a tight bind. All right, so today I want to take a quick minute and share with you some interesting information that I've caught wind of on the internet. And I want to share my 2 cents on it, because it has everything to do with the current Federal Reserve note that we know as our national currency, also known as the dollar. With all these developments, it definitely will impact us in one way or another. It's something that this whole channel has been based upon, is rethinking the dollar. That's exactly what the world's doing. So in this video today, my goal is to answer 3 simple questions. What are the potential global economic impacts of the end of the petrodollar deal between Saudi Arabia and the U.S.? And 2, what are the reasons behind Saudi Arabia's decision not to renew the petrodollar system if that comes to fruition? And 3, how does the Saudi Arabia involvement in the Project M Bridge reflect a shift in the global economic dynamics? So if you're new to the channel, my name is Mike, the host and creator of Rethinking the Dollar. And my whole goal with this channel is to get people to think beyond what we've been told, because we've all been sold a bag of goods that no longer lines up with the globalist narrative. And that's why everybody is rethinking the dollar and what it means to hold dollars head into this uncertain future that we're all experiencing. And if you're new to the channel, you haven't already, so it's also time for you to start doing the same. So let's dive into this. Could there be an impending expiration of the 50-year petrodollar agreement between Saudi Arabia and the United States on June 9th, which is just a couple days from now? If all this is true, it could mark a pivotal moment in the global economic landscape. This agreement, forged in the 1970s, requires Saudi Arabia and other OPEC nations to conduct oil transactions exclusively in U.S. dollars. This practice has significantly bolstered the dollar status as the world reserve currency, and the potential termination of this agreement may unleash profound implications for the global economy and the dollar's dominance. So the number one question is Saudi Arabia officially dropping the petrodollar? As you can see from the article on screen here, this has been in talks for years now. And it wasn't until most recently when a lot of this technological advancements came about, utilizing distributed ledger technology, that this subject really began to pick up. So if you comb the airways, there's dozens of articles out there talking about the end of the petrodollar system. But then again, it hasn't happened as of yet. So what's the hangup is the next question. Should Saudi Arabia choose not to renew the agreement, we might witness a considerable reduction in the global demand for U.S. dollars. Consequently, the dollar's value could diminish, leading to more expensive imports for Americans and a lot higher inflation rates. The repercussions could extend further if other oil exporting nations decide to follow Saudi Arabia's lead, thereby further eroding the petrodollar's influence. If it comes down to it, with Saudi Arabia's...
There goes that word erode again. I just did a video, what is that? Not yesterday, I think the day before, so Salakia. You know, I don't be feeling too good when I miss a day doing a video, you know, just knowing that we got to do this work. So I constantly ask the Father to let me be a vessel, you know, of the Holy Spirit so I can edify the sheep. But this is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 1 and verse 10. It says, "And it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahweh, that there shall be the noise of a cry from the fish gate, and an howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills." See, back then, the fish gate was a place where they sold fish from. The fishermen would basically sell their fish, or sell it to a merchant. A merchant will do what they need to do to sell it to the other people as a third party. All right. Hills are metaphorical for smaller governments or smaller mountains, and that's what a mountain is symbolic of in the scriptures: a kingdom, a rulership. So notice that the global economy, there's a reason why it's saying from the hills, man, because all these connecting nations that use the dollar, because it is the world's reserve currency. If you as a country want oil to power your whatever, power plants, use locomotives, use cars or whatever, you have to pay for it in US dollar. But see, all these countries are seeing the decline of Babylon, which is America, and this is why that Project Sandman came out, but they saying that they was all going to drop the dollar at once, and they know that it's going to hurt their countries because of how intertwined their economy is to America's, but they're trying to put themselves in a position for damage control by joining BRICS, by getting on distributed ledger technology, the blockchain, and digital currencies. You see, so that they could still so-called take care of their citizens when shit gets rough, because it's going to get rough for everybody, period, point blank. But they don't want their country to be as rough as America's going to be, because America's going to get hit the worst when this great reset happens. These elite know it. You see, this is why a bunch of bread and circus and distractions is going on right now. You feel me? Because when shit hits the fan, it's going to be everywhere. Hence the term "shit hitting the fan." throw some shit in a high speed fan, see what happens. Okay, verse 11, it says, "How ye inhabitants of Maktesh." Maktesh was the ancient merchant city. So modern day times, that would be your Wall Street, Manhattan, New York. So, you know, people are going to be howling when they wake up and that ding, 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 and they see everything is down 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 points on the Dow Jones, on the NASDAQ, on the S&P 500. For all the merchant people are cut down, right? All the people that make their living by being a stockbroker or you know, buying and selling Bitcoin and foreign exchange and certain cryptocurrencies, they're going to be cut down, okay, because of the fact that this shit is going away. You know, the economic prosperity. It says, "All they that bear silver shall be cut off." I'm gonna get one more because he said the inflation. All right, this is Revelation chapter 6 and verse 6, and it says, "And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and wine." The oil and wine is this truth. It's likened unto this truth. So this truth is what's going to keep you stable in them times where barley and wheat is going to be for a measure of penny. How do you get understanding of that? You go into the Greek, all right? Penny is a denarian, or a day's wage. So it's going to take you 1 day to get a small amount of food or drink, man, which is going to be astronomical to your lifestyle in the vicissitude, the unexpected change. You see, and it's going to happen like that, man. You see, suddenly, you type in the word suddenly in the blue letter Bible and see how many precepts come up, man. You see what I'm saying? But see, the Lord not going to say, oh, I didn't tell you. Amos 3:7. For the Lord God will do nothing except he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. So the prophets is out here giving you the prophecies of what's to come. So you not looked at as, oh, you got caught, hit without knowing, but you took his counsel for naught. Proverbs 1. This is why a lot of these niggas is going to be in calamity, and the prophet's going to be laughing at them, which is really going to be the Lord laughing at them through his men.
Reluctance to renew the petrodollar agreement. It likely stems from about 3 primary factors of what's really going on behind the scenes. And the first one is challenging the dollar's hegemony. You see, over the last decade or so, Saudi Arabia has been investigating alternatives to the petrodollar system. Notably, the country has shown interest in trading oil and other currencies such as the Chinese yuan, often referred to as the petro yuan.
Didn't I just say that?
Nowadays, since China and Saudi Arabia signed a memorandum in collaboration on oil refining, and nations that participate in Chinese yuan systems being able to redeem the renminbi for gold in the future if need be. This shift could potentially realign global trade practices away from the U.S. dollar. The next one is strained U.S.-Saudi relations. The relationship between the U.S. and Saudi Arabia has been under strain.
Now, why has they been under strain? Because prophecy says so. All right, let's go get a prophecy regarding these Edomites, representative of their capital, Babylon the Great, the land of the north, all right, versus these Ishmaelites in Saudi Arabia. Let's go to the book of Obadiah, all right? See, we have to study to show thyself approved, man, and then we'll have answers, all right, to all of life's perplexing questions, because everything is in the scriptures. And so Wada, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, for this knowledge, man, because what goes on, we know what's to go on, and we're going to be stable in them times, because this is the strength of our salvation, knowing these scriptures. All right, this is Obadiah chapter 1, verse 7. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee. See, what isn't there something called a peace treaty? You see? So without them fighting Saudi Arabia like before the 70s, or should I say the Arab world, okay, they declared peace by signing a document where they would buy oil in any country using America's dollar, and then they'll keep them militarily safe from, foreign threats and things of that nature. But it says the men that were at peace with thee, Saudi Arabia, the Ishmaelites, have deceived thee. You see that? From finding alternative ways, right, to sell their oil, and prevailed against thee. So they're going to prevail according to the scriptures. And we're seeing that now. And we're going to get the ramifications, I would say, in weeks, if not months, man. Inflation is coming. Elder Pastor Har been saying hyperinflation because it's prophesied in the scriptures. It says, they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. Yeah, those that you break bread with, those that you take their philosophies from them. You see what I'm saying? Look, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High. Even Yahweh Shah said, if eat this bread, for it is my body, my flesh. All right, because you're of the lifestyle of how he will. So the lifestyle of these Edomites, those that eat the bread with them, oh, this is how you do things like the Edomites do it. They going to what? They're going to lay a wound under thee. So something is coming that is going to put these Edomites in a trick bag, and it's going to hurt them. And hey, It could be economically. We will see. It says there is none understanding in him. That's right. And that goes into the precept. Elder Malcolm would like to bring it out all the time. Um, is there no more wisdom in Taman? You see, in Dedan is the understanding of the men of Esau of Taman gone away, roughly paraphrasing. So these people are through, man. These so-called white people, the Edomites.
Various geopolitical issues, including the conflict in Yemen and the murder of the journalist Jamal Khashoggi. These tensions may have influenced Saudi Arabia's decision to seek alternatives beyond the dollar. And next, because the world has chosen to be divided into two sectors, the Western Hemisphere and the Eastern Hemisphere, it's only natural that diversifying economic partners will result from activity like that. And Saudi Arabia has been actively strengthening ties with China and other nations. And most notably, their inclusion into the BRICS Union now plays a major role in their thinking long term. And this, for sure, will reduce economic reliance on the dollar. So the next question people should be concerned with is what implications for the global economy does Saudi Arabia choosing to not renew the agreement if that comes about, or the sole continual removal of dollar dependence out of their economy? Little does the average person know, the potential end of the petrodollar system has significant economic and geopolitical consequences. For decades, the petrodollar has underpinned the dollar's dominance in global trade. Its demise could signal a shift in the global balance of power, diminishing U.S. influence around the world. And if the threat of the dollar no longer being the standard concerns people, there's no coincidence as to how all this CBDC talk has picked up steam. Now that Saudi Arabia has joined the Bank of International Settlement, and the introduction of central bank digital currencies adds another layer of complexity. Saudi Arabia's recent participation in the Chinese-dominated CBDC cross-border trial, known as Project Bridge, underscores this collaboration involving central banks of China, Hong Kong, Thailand, and the UAE.
See, now that's deep. I didn't even know that. I know about a lot of projects, but Project Bridge is showing all these major governments, and they're coming together to see how a central bank digital currency could bridge, from one country to the next. And I bet you XRP's in the mix, Ripple. I bet you, if you really do the research. All right. But that shows you that oil is going to be traded and tokenized, okay, digitally, because we coming into this digital stage, man. Why else would they be working with China, who does everything in digital shit, man?
The addition of Saudi Arabia represents a significant step towards reducing the U.S. dollar's role in global oil trade. The Project Bridge, which is labeled as a new frontier in cross-border banking, appears to be another way of adding alternatives.
You see?
To the complexity of the monetary system that is not centered on using just dollars. The Bank for International Settlements announced that Saudi Arabia's central bank would become a full participant. According to them, this project aims to facilitate cross-border transactions using CBDCs, which allows them to leverage new technologies to address the technical, old, archaic, analog system they've been running on for decades. With the inclusion of Saudi Arabia, a major G20 economy and the world's largest oil exporter, could accelerate the adoption of this platform for commodity settlements outside the U.S. dollar. And so now that the Bridge project has achieved the minimum viable product stage, moving beyond the prototype phase, the transactions on this platform can utilize the code underlying China's EU yuan, which can be seen as a useful alternative for other participating central banks. And to take it even further, the BIS has also integrated compatibility with the Ethereum virtual machine, or the EVM, which allow other developers to utilize the Ethereum network to build into the network, which enhances the platform's capabilities. So now the Bridge is up and operational, centered around the EU yuan and other alternative central bank currencies, including Saudi Arabia into this deal now, at the same time that the petrodollar deal is up for negotiations, would only lead everybody to suspect that there's some bigger plans happening behind the scenes that may not be made public this upcoming weekend. But we all know, based on all the information I just laid out here, that something's brewing, and or something has already changed. The world hasn't found out yet.
You see that? And I'm kind of now gearing towards that. I feel like something has already changed, bro. And they throw out these little dates, this and that and the third, to throw you off, man. You see what I'm saying? But see, the Lord has set up watchmen. Let's go get that real quick, man. Because I'm constantly watching. We deal render unto Caesar what Caesar's. We're using this word, but we're not constantly watching. Why? Because we're constantly occupied in prophecies, as a wise man should. Ecclesiasticus, 38:1. All right. This is Ezekiel. What is this? Chapter? Is it chapter 3 or chapter 2? Let's see here. Chapter 3. Let's see here. Salakia. Where is it at, bro? I'm still using my new sword. I gotta get into it. Let's see here. And I don't want to use my iPad, but basically, I've made thee a watchman upon the house of Israel. All right. If I continue to find it, I'll find it. But let's finish this out.
So as you can see here in the red, these are already the nations that have something available for use by the citizens. And there we have in the green, they're in the research phase. And in the golden colors, they're in the pilot phase. And that means the U.S. as well. So as the CBDCs continue to be developed, eventually it's all designed to be interconnected or interoperable, as I've been talking about for several years now. And so having the capabilities of connecting all these networks together, being developed by the Bank of International Settlements, working along with China as the leader, lets me know that there's already been some shifts in the global monetary order. And the dollar's not going away, but it won't be the primary numero uno the world's forced to use. Because based on all the evidence, it looks like the payment structure internationally will be dispersed, will be more broader in use case. And at this current moment, China is leading the charge with the world's largest domestic CBDC pilot, which encompasses 260 million people and being used in a wide array, from e-commerce to government payments and a lot more. Now, the other emerging economies, including India, Brazil, Russia, are also planning to launch officially their digital currencies by 2026. The rebranding of the currency system is well underway. So, at the end of the day, what does all this mean? With the pending expiration of the Petrodollar agreement and the rise of CBDCs like the Petro Yuan and the others, this will herald a significant shift in the economic order. Now, the Saudi Arabia's strategic move into the M-Bridge project, at the same time, the petrodollar is being brought into question. That just adds more speculation to the idea of the petrodollar system being less viable for the world to use in the days ahead. So moving forward, we're going to see a lot more news stories about the petrodollar system as well as CBDCs. But when you put it all together, it equals more controlled by the same authorities that are the reason why the world is the way it is today, and how the distributed ledger technology, while being sold to the small few that build their hopes and dreams on Bitcoin and things like that, clearly is looking more like a distraction, while governments and central banks are building up their solution for the world system in the days ahead.
You see that? He just said, let's hear that again.
So moving forward, we're going to see a lot more news stories about the petrodollar system as well as CBDCs. But when you put it all together, it equals more controlled by the same authorities that are the reason why the world is the way it is today.
So who's the same authorities by the reason why the world is the way it is today? Job 9:24. The earth has been given to the hand of the wicked. If not, where and who is he? All right? He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Which are the Edomites, because they're the wicked. Malachi 1:4. Yeah, and I just pulled it up. Thawada, S.O.T. Richard Perez. All right, Ezekiel chapter 3:17. All right, I'm gonna get that at the end to close it on out. But listen to what he said.
And how the distributed ledger technology, while being sold to the small few that build their hopes and dreams on Bitcoin and things like that, clearly is looking more like a distraction.
So he's saying that Bitcoin and you having hopes and dreams of getting rich with cryptocurrency is starting to look more like a distraction, while the elite is getting rich off of the distributed ledger technologies going into the what?
Governments and central banks are building up their solution for the world's system in the days ahead.
Right. So because the governments and the central banks are building up the system for what? The MOTB. That only Great Millstone and the affiliate camps are teaching correctly, which is the RFID chip, man. And it's nothing else, man.
So the question I'm going to leave you with is, as all these CBDCs are developed and eventually launched, you're going to have over 150, 160 countries all looking to get their population into a retail CBDC. Do you really think on the decentralized side, they're going to allow people to continue to race and have options out of their system that they're building without there being some type of disconnect or unplugging of an alternative to their global digital tyranny that they're trying to keep us in? Just something worth thinking about. But anyway, I'm curious to hear what you guys think about.
Exactly. So they're not going to allow you to be on no decentralized shit, man. You feel me? This is why me personally, under the regulation of the International Standardization Organization 222, ISO 222, the first coin that came to the government and say, please regulate us, was XRP. And their father company is Ripple, which is working in Denmark with the Naval Intelligence and DARPA to create, all right, a Ripple compatible microchip. And it just so happens that XRP is the #1 coin, all right, that is using the same infrastructure Ripple and selling their information to central banks to create their own central bank digital currency. And I'm gonna keep saying this thing. And the MOTB is literally going to be mandated across everywhere. And if you're not in the system, you're gonna be X'd out, as the scriptures say. Let's go to the book of Revelation, and then we're gonna close out in Ezekiel. This is the Revelation, Salahia, chapter 13 and verse. We're going to start at verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, which is this carbon copy of the Roman Empire, which you now know as the military and political system, this new world order, all right, in the system of NATO, EU, and America. That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So you don't want to cooperate and do the things like the Romans do in this new Romanized system. You're going to be killed. You go into the root word of killed in the Greek. It says to separate. Okay, so you're going to be separated from this financial system. So no decentralized. You think you're going to get money on the decentralized cryptocurrency? You're going to be ousted, man. They're going to, and why? Because verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark, a charagma, in their right hand or in their foreheads. You see? So point blank, period. We're going to keep doing these MOTB videos, man, because we at the finish line, man. So, Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17. And this is a good one right here. This is Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17. It says, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel, you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, and you speckled bird, all right, brothers, all right, scattered abroad, that scattered among the heathen that may look like the heathen. Therefore hear the word at my mouth, which are the prophets, that's 2 Thessalonians, and give them warning from me. So this is not a warning from us. This is the warning from the Heavenly Father, and his name is Yahweh. All right, and through the Holy Spirit in his son's name, which is Yahweh Shai. Call Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Brakta Yahweh, Brakta Yahweh Shai. On to the next one. Shalom.